Welcome back to the Tailgate Connect podcast. I'm your host, Luke Lord with Tailgating Challenge. I love all things tailgating. And in today's episode, we're going to speak with Wayne with Tailgate Pro Entertainment. And he has done a tailgate up to 85,000 people and everything in between. You're going to want to hear the dedication and the amazing stuff he has going on at his tailgates every single home game. Stay tuned.
Tailgaters, hear the call, it's game day, y'all. Let's have a ball across the states from college to NFL. Tailgate Connect's got a story to tell.
All right, welcome back to the Tailgate Connect podcast show. Today, we have Wayne with Tailgate Pro Entertainment with us. Wayne, how you doing, sir?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Man, doing good. Anytime I get to talk tailgating, it's a good day. So I know we
Amen.
both have a love for tailgating, and that's why I'm going to start the show tonight, Wayne. Tell me, answer this question. Why do you love tailgating?
Well, for personal reasons, I'm the life of the party, and I just love to be that way. I'm out there. I want to meet everybody. I want to dance. I want to shake hands. I want to have fun. Things of that nature. That's where my love for tailgating came in.
Excellent. So now, Wayne, does this go back to starting in your childhood? Did you develop this later in life? When did you really start to be I'm going to be that tailgate guy?
Well, I would say probably a little bit later in life. I mean, I didn't have growing up, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities to go and tailgate and stuff like that. And then as I got out of the Marine Corps, and started living my life and doing things and stuff, I just started going to football games and concerts and stuff. And that's how I, amongst all my friends, became the tailgate guy. Everybody knew me as, the one that had the tables and the chairs and the canopies and the games and figured out how to have a TV, out of the tailgate, years and years and years ago. And it was just all these things. And it was so much fun. We would all love it. And kind of is the backstory of the birth of Tailgate Pro Entertainment, because I would, keep everything in my garage. It was sitting over in a corner. It would take me an hour or so to load up into the bed of my pickup truck, and then I was the first one to get there and set it all up, and all the things. It was so much work, the logistics to it, getting food, getting drinks, getting ice, getting cups, getting all the things, and I'd be like, man, I love doing this, but I would pay somebody to do this. Just let me just show up to the party. Let me just show up and be the life of the party. And then after saying that so many times, that's kind of where I was like, you know what? I throw good parties. I throw good tailgates. I know what I'm doing. Why don't I actually start a tailgating company? And then over time, I did. I started Tailgate Pro Entertainment, and here I am, couple hundred tailgates under my wings.
So Wayne, first off, thank you for your service. I didn't know you served in the Marines, but thank you so much for what you do for our country.
Thank you.
Second, when did Tailgate Pro Entertainment start? When was this kind of inaugural year of getting out there being official?
Well, I think it couldn't have been any better timing than 2020. So January of 2020.
Oh, perfect air quote timing, right?
Yeah. So January of 2020 got my business license. Had my first trailer that I built out, spec'd out to exactly what I wanted. Went and picked it up in Georgia on March 15th of 2020. And if I'm not wrong, I think March 17th is when COVID shut everything down.
Right around there for sure.
Yep. So it was right there, and that was the birth of Tailgate Pro Entertainment. But Tailgate Pro Entertainment really didn't start taking off until coming into 2021, when things finally started to open back up. And I spent that time though, man, where when it was COVID, I used to go set my my trailer set up and my tailgate set up. I would go set up on the beach, at the parks, alongside the road and my housing community. I would just go and set up any and everywhere that I could and invite people to come and hang out and just party, right? Um, at first people didn't want to do it because it was COVID time. But then
Sure.
as time went on and it was an outdoor activity, people started to see it. We were posting on, social media, things like that. And it really started to blow up because when coming out of COVID, that's what everybody wanted to do, something outdoors. Nobody wanted to go to an indoor space. Nobody wanted to be in a confined space. So they were looking for outdoor opportunities. So we started out, doing corporate events like, you know, holiday parties and Christmases and, things like that. They were booking us for, to run a tailgate for their corporate event because we could do it outside. And it just kind of kept growing and growing and growing. And, now here we are. We do every home Bucs game, every Gator game, a lot of the USF games. We've done New Orleans Saints games, we've done Atlanta Falcons games, we've done uh gosh, man. I mean, I've bowl games where we're with ESPN, so we do Gasparilla Bowl every year. I do a couple other events with ESPN and some of those guys, and it's fantastic, man. It's really just grown and gone to levels that I could have never imagined, to be honest with you.
No, that's amazing. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask to kind of rewind of where are your tailgates? You hit on some of those. Now, my other question for that too, Wayne, is going to be because it sounds like you're starting to get further and further out from maybe the home base of that Tampa area. Are you looking to continue to expand further, or are you going to be really focused in the markets that are close to you to give the best maybe tailgating experience? What are your thoughts on that?
A little bit of both. So I've ventured out. It's been like fly fishing right now, right? So we're throwing it out there, we're seeing what happens. If we don't get a bite, then we're pulling it back in and we're tossing it somewhere else. So we've really done that. We've gone to New Orleans. I've done some stuff in Miami, I've done some stuff in Jacksonville, and I've done some stuff up in Atlanta there. So what we're doing is we're feeling it out as to where's the best spot. Because I'll be honest, one of the biggest things to tailgating is having a good connection with where you're at, right? You gotta have somebody that can set up and break down. You gotta have staff, you gotta have vendors, you gotta know where you can go get ice. You're in the middle of a tailgate and you gotta go get more food or drink or this or that. You gotta know where you can go get it. You gotta know what to do. Um, and that's not always easy. So what we've been doing is feeling out where we can go, and then you also got to have that good location. And sometimes the good locations aren't available, so you gotta wait. You gotta wait till you can find that great spot. You don't want to be at the last parking lot. You want to be at the first parking lot. So that's what we're trying to accomplish now. And Tailgate Pro Entertainment in whole is just growing in a sense of number of events. I mean, kind of said, started in 2020. I ran 4 events that year. Um, and then we've grown to where now I have 315 events on the books this year.
Wow, that is progressive growth to say the least, right? You're a busy man.
Yeah.
So Wayne, like I feel with 315 tailgates scheduled, like this is more than just the Wayne show, right? There has to be like a cast of people helping assist, like make this amazing, right? How many people like right now are helping with Tailgate Pro Entertainment to make sure all of these tailgates are rock star status and successful?
I employ and pay over 350 people a year.
Wow.
I've got a book of people that we and look, some of them work one time, some of them work once a year, some of them work for me 6 days a week. It just kind of it depends, and sometimes they're working 5 events this week for the next 3 weeks, and then they don't work for me for 3 months because they've got other things going on, or the events stuff that we have going on. you know our events, and again, 315, right? It is a whole lot. Some of them are as simple as 10 people, right? It's a small little intimate, party tailgate, something, backyard barbecue type deal that we put together. And then others of them are huge. We've got last weekend we threw a tailgate for 4,000 people. I mean, that's the type of, and we're anywhere in between. The largest one that we've done that was just a tailgate was 12,000 people. The largest
What
event
event? What event?
that was the Gasparilla Bowl 2 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
Um So that's the largest one. The largest event that I've done in total was we did they call it the pineapple drop, which is their Sarasota's New Year's Eve version of the big apple drop.
Sure.
85,000 people that we helped the city of Sarasota run the entire event. We brought a carnival in, worked with food trucks, the local vendors and restaurants, and the whole city streets were all shut down, and we had a huge stage and production, and I mean everything. We samba dancers walking around. We had a 14-foot LED robot. We had, the masked fat head and a pit bull fat head walking around the streets. It was huge.
No doubt, no doubt. So, I mean, that's a lot of people, right? We talking 85,000 to 12,000 to 4,000. Like all of that is like bigger than most tailgates people go to, right?
Yeah.
So, what I'm taking from this too is that, like, if you can do 4,000 people, like, 300, 1,000, like whatever that looks like you're ready, you're set up for success. Like, bring it on. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. It was a leap of faith, right? Like, one of the first bigger ones that I did was about 1,200 people. And that was for, it was called the Outback Bowl, which is now the ReliaQuest Bowl, but it was the last Outback Bowl, and it was Penn State versus Arkansas. And that was the first time that I was going to have more than like 500 people at a tailgate. And it was like, all right, can I do this? And the numbers got up to be about 1,200 or so, and it was like, okay, here we go, and we got through it, and we did it all, and everybody had a fantastic time and tons of compliments, and it just it I won't say that there wasn't problems, but from a customer's perspective, they didn't see the problems, right? And that's what it is. Like, my job is to maintain the problems that come up and make it where the customer never has to even experience that, right? You run out of Sprite. Well, if you get Sprite in before you get that last bit of Sprite out, then nobody never
Yeah.
knew that you were running out of Sprite.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I'm a believer too. The customer doesn't know it's a problem. It's not a problem. Right? It's only a problem if the customer knows it's a problem. So good
That's right.
job on that. Now, Wayne, let's so somebody goes to tailgateconnect.com, they buy some tickets for one of the Buccaneers games. Like what can someone expect? Like when they show, what does that experience look like for the tailgater that buys a ticket to one of your events?
Well, first off, I talked about it earlier, location, location, location. We are in the prime location for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, we are directly across the street, corner of Himes and Tampa Bay. Uh, you can throw a football and hit the stadium. It's less than a 3-minute walk from our tailgate to the you know scan your ticket, get into the stadium. So super close there. Um, uh, Tons of people in the area, tons of things going on. We have a lot of sponsors. So we've got, for one example, 98 Rock, which is part of iHeartRadio, is out there. So 98 Rock, they broadcast live from our tailgate for the first hour and a half of every one of our tailgates. So there's the radio personalities are out there. They've got swag. They're doing giveaways, contests, stuff like that. Um, we've got, tons of shade and seating, DJs blasting music. We've got the bathrooms out there for people. I mean, it's such a fun time. Like, you come in, and we're such an inviting environment also, because we have Bucs fans, we'll have the opposing team fans, we have fans of teams that aren't even playing that day or that game or whatever, that are in there with their jerseys on, and it's just like a big family party. I always tell people, like, our tailgate, it's not corporate-y. It's very authentic. It's like you and all your buddies got together and threw a party, and you just showed up to it. And that's the type of feel that I have at my environments.
So, like, a little bit further. So I love that. One of my questions is always like, if you're an opposing fan, are you going to get put in the corner over there? Nobody's going to talk to you, but it sounds like it's a very open and inclusive environment, which I love. And I believe
Yeah.
most tailgates are like that. So I'm glad that you're embodying that mission as well, too. Now, random question here before we talk more about your tailgate. You brought it up. NFL, fans wearing opposing teams' jerseys for neither one of the teams that are played. I feel like that in college that doesn't really happen, but in the pros it happens like every single game. Why? Wait, hell, why is that? I don't know. I need to know why.
All right, so I think that it's a lot of where you live. So I can say Tampa, especially. Tampa has traditionally been a very transient city. You don't have a lot of people that are born and raised here. I'm actually born and raised in Tampa, so I've been a Bucs fan all my life. But many other of my friends were born up in Chicago or Philadelphia or out in the Midwest or wherever it may be. So their loyalties are to those teams of where they were born at and where their fathers and parents and grandparents were all born at. So what's happening, I feel like I've seen over several years here, is you're starting to get more uh, true Tampa fans. So those one-off jerseys become less and less as time goes by. But we are Florida, so you also have all the snowbirds that are here because they're New England Patriot fans, and so because we have such a melting pot of people, that's why we tend to see these other team jerseys and other fans that are at the tailgate, but they love football and they want to go out and have the experience. I get a ton of people that come to the tailgate that aren't even going into the game. They just want to come and be in that environment and hang out around all the fun stuff. And let's be honest, $75 for all you can eat, all you can drink for 4 hours.
That's not
That's
bad. That's not bad.
I mean, you can't go to any bar and get that, you know?
No, not with the environment right beside the stadium as well too. So I love that part, and that gets us right into the next part of bringing it back to your tailgate. Because for some people, like the food and the drinks, like that's what makes the tailgate. What can someone like expect when they come to your like? Do you have, like bartenders, like custom menus? Like what does that look like from a food and drink perspective?
Yeah, so food, we have a Boss Ross barbecue. So he's on site with his food trailer, smoker on the back. He's
Nice,
I mean, guy's an animal. He wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning, for these early games, and he's
love it.
he's cooking food. I mean, I'm telling you, like, and his food is just phenomenal. Everything from his ribs, pork, chicken, beans. He's got some amazing mac and cheese. I mean, so we've got several meats, several sides, bread, cookies or brownies or some type of dessert all the time. There's always just good food that's there. In terms of beverages, we're sponsored by Bacardi.
Okay.
So Bacardi is part of that family is Grey Goose, Patron, Cazadores tequila, Angel's Envy whiskey, obviously Bacardi spiced, um, Bombay gin. So some good name brand liquors. And then locally, we're sponsored by JJ Taylor, which is the local local beer distributor. So
Okay.
that's Yingling Light, Yingling Flight, High Lie, Twisted Tea, tons of other popular, Miller Lite, Coors Light, things like that. So we've got everything you want from full liquor to beers to seltzers to waters and sodas. We're also inviting for any age group, right? I don't care if they're 5 months old or 105 years old. Everybody's welcome into our tailgates. Matter of fact, if you show up and you've got a kid under the age of 10, man, we're not even charging them to come in. We want you to come in and show your kid a fun, safe
Nice.
environment
I love that.
and be able to hang out. And that's what we are. Like again, going back to the roots of we want it to be a bunch of friends got together in our tailgating type environment.
No, I love that about kids because again, like I'm a believer. I started tailgating. Obviously, my tailgating looks a little bit different now than what it did as a kid at University of South Carolina, and I still remember that, right? So I still have those memories. So I think like inviting that, making it easier for families to have their kids there, I think is an amazing thing you're doing too. So thank you for doing that, sir. And it sounds like for the parents or other people, it sounds like they won't have a hard time finding something they might like to drink or eat at your tailgate either.
That's right. And we've always got tons of games too. The kids love everything from we've got life size Jenga, Giant Connect 4, we've got, you know, uh, you know, yard pong out there, just all the fun games for people to just enjoy and have a great time.
Excellent. Excellent. No, it sounds like a great time. I'm ready to come down. I know I need to still come down to one of your tailgates. I'm definitely going to make sure that happens in the near future. Now, Wayne, let's get to know you a little bit better now too. So it sounds like you do a lot of tailgating or focused on this Tailgate Pro Entertainment as a business. But do you get out sometimes and get to go across the country and do any tailgating for fun?
Not really. Obviously this time of year is super busy. Um, I don't want to give too much away, but I am in the works of doing what would be a year of complete travel for tailgating and traveling in a different city for every single pro and college game for a whole season.
Wayne, it sounds like I know you want to tip your hand, but I feel like I need to talk to you off a camera about it. It sounds like a very interesting thing, and hope to learn more in the future when you're ready to maybe share a little bit more of that. That sounds like one of these Guinness World Records behind me, like something like amazing like that you're out there trying to do too, which I can appreciate. Anything in the tailgating vibe for sure. All right. So with that being said, though, Wayne, is there one venue, whether it's college or pro, that you're like, I really want to go tailgate there one day? Like, do you have a bucket list?
Um, I feel like Lambeau Field is just a phenomenal place. I mean, there's so much uh, backstory to the NFL with that facility. I'd love to go there. Um, and then uh the other one is some of these newer stadiums that are getting built. They just look cool, like the new Raiders stadium, the new Rams stadium. Like those stadiums just look super cool. So I'd like to go check those out.
Now, if you had the opportunity to get on the field and they said, Wayne, you can go do the Lambo Leap, would you be up for it? Would you be ready to make that jump into the crowd?
Heck yeah.
I feel like I say yeah, but I'm like, how tall is that thing? Can this 40-plus-year-old guy get up over the top, or am I going to look silly? I don't know, but I would try. I would try as well.
I would. I mean, why not? Right? I mean, if 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 you don't do it, the answer was always no. If
For
you
sure.
don't ask the question, the answer is always no, right? And
Always.
and that's something I learned pretty early on in my business, right? Like I could say no to somebody and never get the chance again, or I can say yes and I can figure out a way to figure it out.
For sure. I love that mentality. All right, Wayne, tell me this. What has been the most fun tailgate that you've ever hosted? Is there one that really, I know you say all of them, Luke, but is there one that really stands out? You just like for whatever reason,
Most fun. Uh
fun, memorable, whatever you want to plug in there.
um I don't know. I mean, I kind of was telling you about, the Penn State Arkansas game for the
Yep.
Outback Bowl that we did. Um it was for me, it was so neat to see how that got pulled together. And I'll tell you, like, even a little backstory to that is that game was traditionally always on. It was the noon game on New Year's Day,
Yep.
right? So to think about that and how much goes into it, and we tailgate it from 8 to noon. Well, that means that we were there at 2 o'clock in the morning setting up for this tailgate. 2 o'clock in the morning, New Year's Eve night, New Year's Day, right? Um, so just so much was going on and taking place. And, there was obviously things that even took place 3, 4 days in advance, putting the fence up and doing all the stuff that was necessary for the infrastructure of it, but like literal day of being able to start setting up, getting out there that early in the morning and just doing it, knowing that everybody else is either still out having a good time or passed out because they had too much of a good time.
Right.
But they were getting ready to come to see us and have another great time. And to see how that just took off and ran the way that it did, I came out of there knowing that what I was doing was gonna just was going to succeed. I had no doubt in my mind that Tailgate Pro Entertainment and throwing tailgates of this sorts was going to be great for not only me but all the people that I could bring into my experiences.
For sure. Now, so that was New Year's Day. Did you see the ball drop that New Year's Eve, or were you tightly tucked into bed waiting to get up early?
No, no, I stayed up and watched the ball drop.
And
Let's
push right
see.
through.
Yeah. So what I did as a matter of fact was I had about 10 people that were working for me that I was like, this is my core group. They gotta do this. So we had a party, as a matter of fact, over at my brother's house, and everybody stayed over at my brother's house so that when one of us got up, we all got up. There was no question on anybody oversleeping because it was a very important day. So there were a bunch of us that just stayed the night there. We watched the ball drop. We all pretty much went to bed right after and woke up about 1:15 or so and hit the road.
Wow. Again, going back to the dedication, and I feel like what people don't always understand and what goes in to throwing a successful tailgate is people show up and like, oh, great, we have all the food and all the good drinks and the games and everything. But it's like sometimes that means planning 4 or 5 days in advance, getting up at 2 a.m. to make sure those customers, those tailgaters, have an epic tailgating experience. I love to hear the backstory from people like you, Wayne, because again, like I know what goes into throwing a successful tailgate. And I don't know if everybody knows that, but again, just being very appreciative of people like you that are doing that and really like you're passionate. I can feel the passion coming through you right now talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, and like you say, a couple days in advance. I mean, a lot of it is weeks and months in advance. I mean, we pull permits. I've got to pull a
Yep,
permit for a lot of these tailgates and stuff. So, I mean, that's happening well in advance. And you
yep,
were getting sponsors involved. You know, as soon as we come out of football season, I'm already talking to sponsors about next football season.
for
So
sure.
there are 9+ months worth of planning into making some of this stuff happen.
No, I love the backstory and appreciate the hustle you're doing out there, sir, as well too. Now, I'm gonna shift it back to you, Wayne, just personally. So this might seem like a fairy tale right now, Wayne, but think you're at a tailgate. You're not having to work it. You're there to enjoy it only. What is going to be in your cup? What is in your cup of choice at a tailgate that you're enjoying personally?
Bacardi, spiced, and Sprite.
Okay, you said that real quick. That is your go-to. It sounds like, no doubt.
Undoubtedly, anybody that knows me, that's what they know, that's what I drink.
Okay. All right, so we got our drink. Now, if we shift over to food, what's gonna be on your plate? Like, what's the perfect tailgating meal in your opinion?
I like all the foods. There's literally nothing that I dislike when it comes to food. So, I like a little bit of everything. I don't want to get super full. I
Sure.
want to have just enough of a base to keep me going and having a good time. So for me, it's the little tiny scoop of the pork and the chicken and one rib and a little bit of the potato salad and beans and whatever else is there. But I want a little bit of everything.
Okay. No, I'm with that as well too. I want a little bit because I don't want to get stuffed. If you get stuffed, then I
No,
feel like you just want to sit down. Then you're not enjoying some of the environment and things that are going on there too. All right.
this
So
is
speaking
Florida.
of,
You don't want to eat and then be out in the heat.
well, that's also fair with the heat aspect of it. So when we talk about the entertainment aspect, the big thing that I love are tailgating games. I know you alluded to some of those at your tailgate earlier. What is your favorite tailgating game to play personally?
Uh, Cornhole's always fun, right? It's
Sure.
it's the traditional game. I really enjoy it, and it's enjoyable because most people know how to play it. It actually surprises me in terms of how some people don't know how to play it. They want to play on opposite sides. They
All
want to
right.
throw three bags. Whatever. There's a bunch of different ways that it shocks me. But there's been a game that I started playing. I got introduced to a couple years ago called Dags.
Oh yeah.
It's a dice game.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so much fun. And when I explain it to people, I go, this is like lazy man's cornhole here. And then that's how I do the explanation. And I play it a little bit different. We use dice with numbers instead of just the solid color dice. And if let's say I get two in the hole and those two numbers add up to five and you get none in the hole, well then not only do I get the 6 points, but you've got to take 5 sips of your drink.
So making a drink, you can make a drink game out of anything, and I love the ingenuity there. Good stuff.
Makes it fun.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so one of the I don't know if I coined this term, but I use this term a lot. So it's called failgating, and so like when something maybe kind of funny or silly happens, it's like might be a fail, right? For example, like I had another tailgate host that said one of their tailgaters came and they started to try to use the tailgating tent pole as a dance pole, and they missed the pole and fell over. Right, failgating. Right, it doesn't mean something that
Yeah.
you failed on specifically. But maybe just something like, oh my gosh, like this just happened. This person just did this. With all the tailgates, it sounds like you've probably done what getting close to 1,000 tailgates now. If I'm doing some math in my head, depending on what the last couple of years have looked like. Have you had a moment where you're just like, wow, that just happened?
Um, y- liquor becomes liquid courage for a lot of people.
No doubt.
um, People tend to start thinking they can move in ways that they cannot. um, so I mean, I don't know. I've you've obviously seen the people that are stumbling and falling over. Um, I'm trying to think. I It's hard for me to say funny because I look at stuff like that and I feel bad for them sometimes.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, like that's gonna hurt your face later. Like you're gonna wake
Right.
up tomorrow and really go, I wish I wouldn't have fallen on the cornhole board. Um, so in terms of tailgating, I would say people like falling all over themselves because they took it one step too far.
For sure. This is our plug right now to please drink responsibly and don't drink and drive. I always I say it to everybody have a good time, but have a DD or don't go too far with. I know it gets fun out there sometimes, people, but don't take it too far where you're going to have regrets the next day.
Well, and that's it. I mean, look, if you're gonna go somewhere and have all you can drink and you're gonna eat and you're gonna be outside and stuff like that, you know, Uber, Lyft, ride share, DD, figure something out that makes you not have to worry about it, right? A- Again, I mean, I don't know about for everywhere around the country, but you know, near the Buck Stadium, you're paying $60 for a parking spot. You know, if you live within 20 minutes or so of the stadium, that's your Uber rides less than what it would cost you to park there anyways. So why not do it? So that's my thing.
No, that's a good plug right there. And you're breaking down some mathematics here on the Tailgate Connect podcast tonight, too. So good stuff. All right, Wade. So I know that like there are some like really big like super fans and travel groups for other teams. So my question for you is like I know some of those groups have attended some of your tailgates, and so my question is, who have been the most? What NFL fan base has been the most fun that's come to your tailgates before outside of the Buccaneers?
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Tell me why.
The Eagle the Eagles fans, they travel well. They're i- it's so funny. I feel like a lot of Eagles fans have a stigma, right? Because there have been some very aggressive Eagles fans
I've seen some
in the
videos.
past, right? However, I've not experienced that. Every Eagles fan that I've experienced has just been fun, thankful, excited, and just and they've shown up in large numbers. Like, we've done some travel clubs where we've gotten 20 people come through. I've done Eagles tailgates where I've had 650 plus come in. Um, and they're a great group. We've done stuff with them on the Saturdays before, because that's also what we do. Like, we're not just the Sunday, group. If you're a travel group and you're coming to Tampa and you want to be hosted somewhere and you want to go Saturday and go watch college football somewhere, we've got places where we can plug you into, whether that be, you want to set up a tailgate area or you want to be at a bar or something like that. We've got a lot of connections where we will plug people in to have entertainment on Friday and Saturday and Sunday before or after the game while they're in town. Monday, if it's, whatever. So we've got tons of opportunities throughout the city where it's not just about the pregame tailgate, it's about the overall travel experience.
Man, that sounds like a VIP experience to me of what you're saying right there.
We treat everyone like a VIP because everyone is important to us.
Okay. So Wayne, as we wind down here, the only other question I had for you was you mentioned a little bit earlier, like speaking about like ESPN bowl games. I know for a lot of people that like ESPN, like the holy grail, like, oh my gosh, ESPN, watch ESPN, watch game day, watch all this stuff. Like what does that look like? Like, how did you get hooked up with ESPN? Does that change any of the elements of your tailgate, like doing an ESPN tailgate, if that makes sense?
I mean, yes. When you start talking, a company of that caliber that's going to put something on, there's there's no nothing gets lacked on, right? They're
Sure,
they're gonna they're gonna make sure they've got the best signage, they've got the best, you know, uh, the best look. Like, everything is gonna be top notch, top tier. It's they're not worried about if there's waste to stuff and things like that. Abundance type mentality really is kind of what goes into play there. So when you get a chance to go to one of those style events, it's so much different. Um, Now it is a little on the more corporate side of things, right? There's a little more regulatory and watching what happens and doesn't and things like that than what would happen at a traditional you and your buddies type tailgate. Um,
sure.
but but just the bar is raised so high, and so for me, as I go and I do these tailgates, I understand that that bar is raised very high. So i'm I'm putting extra staff in place, I'm doing the extra things to make sure that you know uh that nothing ever has the potential to run out, nothing's ever lacked on, nothing's ever, everybody's looking their best. So when you do those things, though, it takes so much extra time. I mean, a typical tailgate, we're setting up 3 hours before a tailgate. When I do these, ESPN or bigger corporate style tailgates, we're setting up a day or two in advance. We're showing up day of 5 hours in advance of the tailgate to make sure that everything is exactly the way that it needs to be.
Sure. No, that's awesome. And again, it has to be an honor, right, to be able to be like, my tailgate is something ESPN wants to be a part of. I think that's pretty cool too.
I love it. I'm humbled by it. I'm I'm appreciative of the opportunities that I have. I don't take them lightly. I feel that I treat, you know, the all of that with so much respect, and every time that I sit down with them, I'm telling them, hey, I appreciate it, and tell me what I've done bad, tell me what I've done good, and what can we grow on to make
Sure.
your event better.
No, I love that continuous learning and openness to feedback, right? Helps make all of us better in all things we do in our lives. So, all
Yep.
right, last question before we wrap this thing up. Tell me one current or former Buccaneers player that you want to come to one of your tailgates in the future that you think would just be a really fun person, or maybe somebody you just idolized or like really would liked watching growing up?
Uh, it's funny. We were actually just talking about this the other day. Uh, Mike Alstott is probably
Okay.
my all-time favorite, Buccaneer. Um, and there's many other ones, but if Mike Alstott came out, that'd be huge. He's adored in the community. Like so many people, absolutely love him. And he does so much for our community still too, right? Even to this
Okay.
day, he's very involved in the greater Tampa Bay community. So if I was able to get him to come out, that would be that'd be an honor for me, and I think a treat for our guests.
Now, is it fair to say Mike has an open invitation whenever he wants to come to any one of your tailgates?
Mike Alstott, if you want to come to any Tailgate Pro Entertainment tailgate ever, no matter where it is, I got you.
Excellent. Anybody that's listening to this show right now that knows Mike, tag him. Let's make it happen. We got to get Mike to one of Wade's tailgates out there, make dreams come true. And I think Mike would probably have a pretty good time based on everything I heard today as well, too, right?
Undoubtedly.
Excellent. All right. So, Wayne, with that being said, tell the people one more time that are thinking about coming out to an event why they need to come to one of your tailgates at Tailgate Pro Entertainment.
Guys, if you're in the Tampa Bay area and you want to have a good time and you want to be in a fun, safe environment and you want to have the atmosphere and be in the mix of everything and the best food and the best drinks that there are with the best people taking care of you, you should be coming to Tailgate Pro Entertainment. Get your tickets at Tailgate Connect and just come down and look for us right here in Tampa Bay.
Excellent. I'm ready to come down there. I'm hoping everybody that listened this far in the program, they're going to come down and see you as well too. And again, for everybody that stayed for the full show, thank you so much for hanging out with myself and Wayne this evening. Again, if you need tickets for a tailgate, whether it's Tailgate Pro Entertainment or another one of our hosts across the NFL and college markets across America, tailgateconnect.com. We're going to hook you up with that easy button tailgating because you heard it from Wayne. A lot goes into making the perfect tailgate. We can help a little bit with that over here too. Wayne, thank you so much, man, for being on here tonight, hanging out with us and giving us a little bit of the story to see what goes on behind the scenes and your journey with Tailgate Pro Entertainment.
Appreciate you, Luke, and all the stuff that you guys over at Tailgate Connect do for us that are hosting these events to make them happen, man. Appreciate you.
Tailgate Connect.